It's Friday, everyone. What do we do on Fridays here at the Hint Hive? That's right, we smash the patriarchy. Hey there, beautiful hive. Welcome back to the Hint Hive, amplifying women's voices. I'm your host, Kelly Hint, queen bee of this hive, psychotherapist, feminist life coach, and your overall hype woman. Today we're diving into a topic that might seem surface level at first glance, but trust me, it actually runs deep. We're talking about the politics of women's clothing, how fashion polices our bodies. Clothing isn't just fabric we throw on to keep warm or look cute. For women, what we wear has always been politicized, judged, and used as a tool of control. From the hemlines of our skirts to whether we show cleavage at work, society has a whole lot of opinions about our bodies and the clothes we put on them. And guess what? Most of those opinions weren't written with our empowerment in mind. Fashion isn't neutral. It's a language, a system of codes, and in many cases, a cage. And that cage has historically been built to keep women in their place, quiet, restricted, ornamental. But here's the thing. Every time women have rebelled through their clothing, we have rattled the cage and sometimes broken it wide open. So today, let's break down how fashion has been weaponized against women, why it still matters, and most importantly, how we can reclaim clothing as a radical act of self-expression and liberation. So let's start with some history, because it helps us understand why things are the way they are. Clothing has always been tied to social rules. In the 19th century, women were literally cinched into corsets, sometimes so tightly that it deformed their rib cages. That was not about fashion. It was about control. A woman restricted in her breathing and movement is easier to keep docile. Think about it. How do you march for your rights? How do you run for your freedom if you can barely breathe? Now, don't get me wrong. Corsets are fabulous now because they are not the restrictive torture devices that they used to be. Still kind of uncomfortable in my opinion. But if you can pull that off, if you can rock it, have at it, ladies. So let's fast forward to the early 20th century. The flapper era of the 1920s was radical. Women chopped off their hair, wore shorter skirts, and embraced loose dresses as the middle finger to the restrictive Victorian norms. And of course, society pushed back. Women were labeled as immoral, rebellious, even dangerous for daring to show their knees. But those dresses weren't just style, they were protest in fabric form. And then came the 1960s and 70s. The miniskirt, the feminist movement, women burning bras, or at least symbolically rejecting them. Fashion became a battlefield with women fighting to show that their bodies were their own. The slogan, "The personal is political," applied just as much to clothing as it did to the bedroom or the ballot box. And let's be real. Here in the 21st century, not much has changed. We're still hearing dress codes telling teenage girls that their shoulders are distracting. We're still seeing professional women judged for being too sexy or not feminine enough. We are still policing women leaders for their outfit choices instead of their policies. The tools may have shifted from corsets to workplace handbooks, but the intention, the control, still lingers. And of course, we've got to talk about the double standards, because here's the deal. Men's clothing is rarely policed in the same way. Sure, there are norms, suits at work, ties for formality, but no one's telling a man that his pants are too tight to be taken seriously. No one's writing op-eds about whether a male CEO's beard is undermining his authority. The closest exception we've seen was when President Barack Obama wore a tan suit and it sparked national headlines. And this is proof that men's fashion only becomes a scandal when it's out of the ordinary, while women face that kind of scrutiny every single day. Because women, our worth is often filtered through our clothing. Are we showing too much skin? Not enough skin? Are we dressing our age? Are we professional? Are we modest? Are we put together? The double bind is real. We can't win. And that, ladies, is exactly the point. Because if we're busy obsessing over whether our outfit will be judged, we are distracted from the bigger battles. And this isn't just annoying. It is systemic. Fashion policing reinforces patriarchy. It tells women that their bodies are public property, open for commentary and critique. And it conditions us to self-police before we even leave the house. It whispers, shrink yourself. Tone it down. Don't rock the boat. And yet, every outfit we put on is an opportunity to resist that whisper. Let's talk real-world consequences. Dress codes in schools often disproportionately target girls, especially girls of color. Studies have shown that Black girls are disciplined at higher rates than their white peers for dress code violations, which reinforces racialized ideas of whose bodies are seen as appropriate. Clothing policing intersects with racism, classism, and ableism. It's never just about clothes. In workplaces, women who dress too femininely are seen as less competent. But if they dress more androgynously, they're criticized for not being likable or warm. This is the classic double bind. Damned if you do, damned if you don't. And women of color face even more scrutiny, balancing expectations of professionalism with stereotypes tied to their culture and identity. I think of the movie Philadelphia with Tom Hanks. He played, I think, an attorney who had AIDS. And one of the women of color that was on the stand at his trial, because he was suing his company, she was wearing these beautiful earrings, and she was talking about how the boss told her that her clothing was too ethnic. And I thought that that was a perfect representation of not just women being discriminated against in the workplace, but especially women of color. And in politics, women leaders like Hillary Clinton, Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez, or Kamala Harris, they are endlessly critiqued for their clothing choices. Pantsuits, red lipstick, sneakers, when their male counterparts barely make headlines unless they forget a tie. So the message is clear. Women must perform a perfect balancing act while men just show up. Even in everyday life, harassment is often blamed on women's clothing. This is the one that gets me fired up. So I'm not going to go on a rant, I promise. I'm just going to say the things and then move forward. Or I'll try, right? How many times have we heard, well, what was she wearing? As if a skirt is an invitation. Newsflash, clothing does not cause harassment or assault. Predators do. And every single freaking time that we buy into the myth, we reinforce a culture of victim blaming instead of accountability. Can you imagine if the left did that to the right with the recent assassination of somebody on the right who was simply expressing his beliefs that I personally didn't agree with? But what if I said, in response to this man being shot, what if I said, oh, well, maybe he shouldn't have been saying some of the things he said, and that made it okay to shoot him? Yeah, people don't like hearing that. So, please stop doing it to women. All right, I promised I wasn't going to go off on that, so I won't. But you know what? I'm kind of ashamed to admit that I haven't always felt very empowered in this area myself, this area of clothing. And so that is where I will spend more time talking about my personal feelings, because that's what's relevant to this episode, right? Not politics, not sexual assault. I can't go there because I have lots and lots and lots and lots and lots of opinions about that, and no one needs to hear that today. Okay, rein it back in, girl. So, see what I'm doing here? I'm avoiding talking about my vulnerability because I hate to admit my moments of weakness, but it is important to talk about it and how I have moved forward. So, I will say that I have allowed social expectations to dictate my wardrobe at times. I have really, really loved an outfit, but not purchased it because I was either too fat, too old, or not trendy enough to wear it. I have purchased clothing that I will only wear around safe people. I have allowed insecurities about my body to dictate what I wear way too often. When I'm carrying extra weight, I like to hide my body. I also don't feel that I deserve that nice new outfit if my weight isn't where I want it to be. What the hell is that all about? For too many decades, I allowed my physical appearance to dictate my self-worth. I have allowed my weight to determine whether I was allowed to buy new clothing. I wish I could tell you that I never struggle with this anymore, but that would be a lie. And that's one thing I refuse to do on this podcast. My mindset still sometimes challenges me, but I am empowered enough to push through my discomfort and do the thing that I normally would not. That is empowerment. Again, I've said this before, I'm going to say it again. Empowerment is not the absence of the fear and the anxiety. It's the doing the thing anyway, despite that fear and anxiety. I wear the outfit that doesn't fit my age. I buy myself a nice outfit, even if I've got extra weight on my body. I now try to honor my body and myself by not allowing a crappy mindset to rule my life. And I also no longer allow society to tell me what the F I should look like. If I want to color my hair, I color my hair. If I want to let the strands of gray show through, I let the strands of gray show through. It is my decision. It is my body. If I want to go out wearing absolutely no makeup, I will do it because I no longer care about societal expectations. But I still have to push myself to do it sometimes Not so much the societal stuff as far as, so, I have some like political type shirts that have apparently invited strangers, men, the few people who have done it have been men, to comment on my shirts in public. Old me would not wear a political shirt in public or a like women's rights shirt in public. Old me would not have done that because I would have been too afraid of the blowback from men. I don't want strange men approaching me at all, let alone talking to me when it comes to stuff like that, because who the hell asked you for your opinion on my clothing, right? So I have no qualms about doing that. Like, I'll throw on a t-shirt that has, Black Lives Matter on it. And like, if you don't like it, that's your tough. Yeah. So clearly I just had to edit out the curse word that I had in there. But anyway, if you don't like my clothing, tough tarts. That's it. Tough tarts. So that's a saying from like back in my day. I'm totally dating myself. But anyway, my point being, I no longer, I won't censor myself for fear of what someone will say about a particular piece of clothing I wear, but I still struggle with the appearance piece of it. Like, if I don't feel confident in my body, I have to push myself to do the thing anyway. So again, I understand like when you don't have confidence in yourself, but part of the purpose of this podcast is to give you that confidence. Ladies, our bodies are going to change throughout our literal entire lives. We're going to carry extra weight sometimes. We're going to look really good in something one day and then look in the mirror the next day and be like, I don't know if I like that. The important piece of this is we need to separate our sense of self-worth from our appearance, because we have work to do. We need to push back on all of the ways that our bodies are policed. And so we need to come from a place of confidence to start doing that. And that's why it's important to get that self-esteem under control so that we can take back our power. Because how do we take back our power if we're afraid of what we look like, right? Or if we're not happy with what we look like? So again, that's an entirely separate episode itself. So let's get back to the politics of women's clothing, shall we? So let's take back our power through clothing. So now that we've pulled apart how fashion polices our bodies, what do we do about it? Well, step number 1, and I cannot emphasize this enough, dress for yourself, not the gaze. When you get dressed, ask, am I wearing this because I love it or because I'm afraid of judgment? Start noticing the difference. Building awareness is step 1 to reclaiming your wardrobe. And building your confidence is step 0.5 to beginning this entire process itself, right? You got to work on that confidence, and then you got to dress for yourself. And then step 2, challenge dress codes. If you're in a workplace or school with sexist or racially biased dress codes, speak up. And again, I'm talking about sexist or racist policies, not appropriate dress code policies. If you want to advocate for pajamas in the workplace, I don't know if that one, that's not going to fit a whole lot of professions, right? So if you do happen to notice sexist or racially biased dress codes, organize, speak up, document disparities, because collective action can create change. Even just starting conversations about inconsistencies can plant seeds of resistance, and that is what we are here for. And then step number 3, and this is super, super important. Decenter the male gaze. Post that selfie in whatever makes you feel powerful or soft or bold or messy. Wear bright colors if that's you. Wear oversized sweats if that's you. Your style does not have to perform for anyone else. You do not need to post a selfie that would please the male gaze. Because radical authenticity is resistance. And this is one that I can tell you I have struggled with myself. I have resisted making videos because I'm not quite put together that day, right? Actually, I consistently resist posting videos because I hate posting videos because of the damn male gaze, because of the expectation that we have to be put together in order to have something of substance to say. So stop that. Stop it with me. Help me help you, and help you help me. All of it. Let's be in this together, ladies. Let's knock it off. If we have something to say or a picture to post, don't spend an hour putting makeup on to do it. All right. Next one. I need to get off of that soapbox. All right. Number 4, support inclusive fashion. So this looks like buying from brands that actually celebrate diverse body types or ethnicities or genders and abilities. Fashion should be for everyone, not just a narrow beauty standard. So look for designers and creators who are disrupting the industry. I love supporting the disruptors. That's one of my favorites. You know, that rebellious nature and everything that I've got. And step number 5, remember clothing as protest. Whether it's suffragettes wearing white or women today donning pink pussy hats, clothing has always been part of resistance. Your fashion can be a statement of autonomy. Even something as simple as refusing to apologize for your outfit can be political. Shockingly. I mean, men will probably hear that statement and be like, what is she talking about? Well, buddy, you don't get it because you haven't been policed the way we have. And then finally, this final step, another important one, teach the next generation. This is part of what I am trying to do with this podcast because I'm in my 50s and I have people in their 20s that listen to this. Hell, I know that even some teens have listened to this podcast. So let's pay it forward, right? Have conversations with kids, especially girls, about dress codes, self-expression, and body autonomy. Let them know that their clothes don't define their worth. That early intervention helps unlearn the toxic patterns before they take root. All right, Hive. It is time for our quote of the week. This one comes from Chimamanda Ngozi Adichie, who said, "We teach girls to shrink themselves, to make themselves smaller. We say to girls, you can have ambition, but not too much." And to that, I will add, we also teach girls to shrink themselves through their clothing, to be covered, but not too covered, to be attractive, but not asking for it. Let's stop shrinking and start expanding. Our style can take up space, just like our voices. Expansion is not only allowed, it is necessary. All right, ladies, here is your challenge this week. And I will try to participate in this also. Wear something that feels like you, not your boss's idea of you, not society's version of appropriate, but your raw, unapologetic self. Notice how it feels to walk through the world on your own terms. Apply mindfulness to this. I want to know how you feel. Maybe it's bold lipstick. Maybe it's sneakers with your suit. Maybe it's a dress that makes you feel unstoppable. Whatever it is, let it be yours and pay attention to how that makes you feel. Maybe you feel a little insecure at first, but you do it anyway. Ding, ding, ding. Empowerment right there, ladies. Maybe you feel really good at first, but then you notice people looking at you and you feel awkward. Do it anyway. Keep moving forward. You are becoming the best version of yourself. Every single day that you push yourself out of your comfort zone, you are unstoppable. Keep moving forward with that momentum. Pay attention to how you feel. Because I bet at the end of the day, after wearing that bold lipstick all day long, you forget that you're wearing the bold lipstick and you have this moment where you catch yourself in the reflection in a mirror and you're like, damn girl, I look good. I want to hear about that. Oh my gosh. If you do this, you better come to the Facebook group because I want to hear it. I want to hear your victories. And of course, if you loved today's episode, share it with a friend who needs a little reminder that her body and her wardrobe belong to her and her alone. Take a photo in your power outfit and post it on social media. Let's flood timelines with unapologetic style. And of course, follow the Hint Hive Amplifying Women's Voices wherever you get your podcasts, and let's keep this conversation buzzing. Ladies, you are forces to be reckoned with. Let's act like it. Until next time, keep showing up, keep dressing loud, and keep amplifying women's voices. And remember, every outfit is an opportunity to declare, this is me, and I am enough. This podcast is powered by Kelly Hint Empowerment Coaching, as well as Kelly M. Hint LMHC and The Cranky Counselor. To find out more about coaching services, head over to CoachKellyHint.com. If you'd like to know more about the psychotherapy services I offer to individuals within the state of New York, you can check out KellyMHint.com. And if you'd like to learn more about aromatherapy, you can check out TheCrankyCounselor.com.